Hello everyone, I'm back with another video, and this is gonna be the third part of What If Naruto, the Wolf and the Fox. I have not scripted much for my other series, but I will try to start scripting for them again. So with all that out the way, I think it's time to get into my intro.
Welcome to the world, no heroes and villains. Welcome to the war, we've only begun. So pick up your weapon and face it. There's blood on the ground, go and take it. You get one shot to make it out alive. So higher and higher you chase it. It's deep in your bones, go and take it. This is your moment. Now is your time, so prove yourself and rise.
Sorry about that. Okay. So last we left off, it was during the end of the tuning exams. Now, in this, not sorry about that, guys. That's my phone. During this, it was the end of the tuning exams, and Naruto had just beat Shino, and early he beat Sasuke, which would have been against the final match if he didn't go against Naruto earlier. Now this said, Sasuke is livid, and if you remember correctly, I did say that Shino could still become a Chunin as he can. And the reason I'm saying this is because of his excellent tactics against somebody that his clan would normally struggle with, even with all their teachings. Now this would be the case, making Shino's father proud, along with the whole clan, a day of celebration. But if you remember, Naruto doesn't have anyone, but he doesn't really mind, because he's already accepted this is just how life is. Sometimes it's brutal, sometimes it's not. It all just depends on when you're born and who from. All from circumstances you can never control. Now, Orochimaru had another way to try to get the One-Tailed Jinchuriki to act up, you could say. Well, not the One-Tails, actually. No. But another Jinchuriki, nonetheless. A Jinchuriki of human creation. Now, this would change everything. As I'm gonna say, it's the first negative-tailed beast. Meaning, it has a body, but at the same time it doesn't. It's like, imagine 1/9 of an animal's body is not able to be damaged. That's basically what, their body is gonna be like. Making it much, much harder to defeat. But Naruto in this is also incredibly stronger in this time. Now, this would happen as Oh, also, I'm playing Warframe, guys. Now this would happen as Naruto would automatically charge off to it, and so would Shino, Aburame, but Sasuke wouldn't. Yes, he wants to prove himself, but he thinks it may already be too late. He's sulking, and the fact that he just got beaten by what was supposed to be the Academy's worst. But as Sasuke could see, he was not the worst. No, in reality, he was the best, all this time hiding his actual capabilities. As they do end up defeating the negative tails, the first negative tail, but it did take a while, as Shino did have to mess with its chakra to a massive extent, as it is a being of chakra yet not chakra. Also meaning Naruto had to use over 1,000 explosion clones, making Naruto tired and pass out from the fight. Now, Orochimaru still ended up having Hiruzen die, but Hiruzen left a gift, you could say. Besides the Will of Fire. It was a gift meant for Naruto. A gift that would change anything but nothing. Now, this would be the Uzumaki's new Kekkei Genkai. The chakra molding Kekkei Genkai. As they had sealed Naruto's away by taking a bit of his blood and using a reaction seal. Now, he did write next to it, destroy this seal. And the second Naruto would, he'd forever be different. More than he already is. Now, we skip to Naruto 3 days later, as we see him wake up in a hospital bed, exhausted from, well, fighting that tailed beast. But Naruto is incredibly happy he won, which also allows the village to stay protected and hidden from most of the other hidden villages, not having to worry about most. In the sand knowing, especially, that the Leaf are not to be messed with. Holy shite. Can I... Thank you. Now, Naruto is quite possibly one of the strongest ninjas of his... has always been one of the possible strongest ninja. Even Hiruzen knew that while he was putting on the mask. The fact that he learned the Shadow Clone Jutsu and possibly more put him at a massive lead. That was so substantial that Hiruzen genuinely did not think that anyone could possibly get to his point when he becomes their age. Hiruzen also hoping that Naruto would hopefully take the mantle of Hokage from him. As Orochimaru lost his arms and a little bit more of his shoulders. And if it went any further, he would have basically lost the use of his lungs, killing him in the process. But it doesn't, and he's still in excruciating pain. Now, because of this, Jiraiya asks Naruto if he'd still want him to go on the training trip, as Naruto says yes, but as long as Hana Inuzuka comes along, and Shino Aburame, as we may have to try to detain her. As Jiraiya doesn't like the prospect of having to possibly detain his own teammate, but he's kind of okay with it, because he does realize that they may have to. Because, I mean, it's Jiraiya. He's kind of a dumb sometimes, but I mean, it's Jiraiya, guys. Come on now. Now, this would happen, meaning that Jiraiya would still end up fighting Tsunade, and they'd all learn how much, well, those two would learn how much of a pervert Jiraiya is, as they realize he's not as great as the Academy makes him seem. He's a horrid teacher. Now, Naruto would, during this time, teach them Rasengan, and they make their own variants of it. Now, this would happen as Naruto is kind of happy that he was able to teach his friends something like this. Well, wait, crap. Who did I say? I said sorry, his sensei, and his friend this. Now, over this time, him and Hana have slowly been getting closer and closer. But then they end up finding Tsunade Senju, the drunk gambler, the one that cannot win shit for her life. Now, this would mean that Naruto would be the polar opposite. Because, I'm just saying this, Naruto's luck is outstanding. To the point where he could make her lose all of her debts and then some. Although in canon, we can see that this isn't the case, seeing how he gambled. And the only reason he won was simply because Naruto, well, didn't do anything. It was because of Jiraiya. Oh crap, let's put things on alert. What the fuck? Now, that's what happened, and Naruto would still get ready to fight her, as Hana would try to talk him out of it, saying, this is kind of insane, even for you, no matter how strong you've gotten. As he says, oh come on, can't you trust me a little? As they start the fight, as Naruto agrees to just use pure taijutsu. As this shocks Tsunade, as he says, but nature style taijutsu and chakra enhanced taijutsu is still allowed. Is that okay with you, Tsunade? As I know that's kind of where you get your strength from and you can't turn it off. As she smiles in annoyance, but agrees with the kid. As Naruto would smile and say, okay, Tsunade Senju, tell me, are you ready to lose a fight to a child? As Jiraiya smiles slightly, as during this time, he had learned a jutsu, well, a jutsu style in a sense. What? My brain. Sorry, guys. Now, this would be the shocking fighting style, or the shocker fighting style. I'm not really sure what the name should be for it, but it's quite effective, as even Tsunade Senju herself would have a hard time with this. Now, Tsunade would do the same thing in the canon, making the ginormous gap in the ground. This would surprise Naruto, but Naruto would just do a backflip, as then he'd think, her strength definitely overrides mine. It'd be foolish to think otherwise. So, in that case, I'll just have to trick her. As he looks at her and says, Jiraiya, why would you don't do anything? As this gets Tsunade to turn, as then Naruto dashes off, using the shocking style and getting more and more speed, surprising Tsunade with how fast this kid is, as then they start going in a hand-to-hand combat. Naruto sustaining a lot of damage, but him ultimately winning, since Tsunade can't react fast enough as the lightning is shocking her system, putting her slightly off guard. Well, not off guard. Slowing her reaction time, more or less. I'm gonna hate this. Oh, yep. Yep, that's... Okay, sorry about that. Now, this would happen, and Naruto is shocked. Well, not shocked. Tsunade is shocked, as then she is knocked out and brought forcefully back to the village, as Shizune tries to stop them, asking them to wait until she gets consciousness again, as they apologize to her and say, sorry, but that is not an option at the present time. And now this would be obviously because the Hidden Leaf does need another cage, and Tsunade is the only available candidate besides Jiraiya, and Jiraiya has did not agree to it. Now, What? How did I fail mission? Sorry, I'm confused. Now this would happen as Naruto brings them back, as Tsunade is astonished by his strength, and also is starting to like the prospect of, well, ruling over the leaf. Although she doesn't look forward to the paperwork, Naruto teaches her immediately to just use shadow clones, as she does have a massive reservoir of chakra. Now, she'd greatly appreciate this, and she'd get the rundown of the Chunin exams, making Shikamaru Nara, Shino Aburame, and Naruto Uzumaki the, well, Chunins. As Naruto says, "Excuse me, Tsunade, but there's something I wish to do." As she says, "What would that be?" "I wish to finally take off the ceiling tag." As she says, "Ceiling tag?" As he says, "When I was little, I was, uh, a seal was put on me to change my appearance to that more of Minato Namikaze's. And for a while I worked with it until at the age of 10 it broke. Although I decided to wear a hyperactive mask and I'd rather not anymore." As she'd say, "Okay, but if the seal broke, then how are you still like this?" Since I created another seal that casted a genjutsu on me and not them, making it seem like I'm someone that I'm not in reality. Now, this would intrigue Tsunade as she say, "Okay, I'm alright with you releasing the seal, Naruto." As Kurama himself is not cured. Fuck. I just realized I made Kurama see what the boy actually looks like. Annoying. Kurama is chuckling to himself, saying this will be one hell of a shock for them. As this happens, and Naruto releases the tag, changing his appearance to a, well, red-haired boy where the tips of his hair starts to slowly fade into a white, the top of his eyes seeming green, and the bottom half almost a yellowish tint. This would shock Tsunade, as she'd be like, "There's no way that's you, Naruto. Who are you?" As he says, "Simple, Naruto Uzumaki, the nine-tailed Shinshiriki." As Shino, Aburame, and Shikamaru widen their eyes. Now, Shikamaru wasn't fully sure, but he did suspect that he was the nine-tailed Shinshiriki. Now, Shikamaru would smile and say, "So I was right. Oh well. Doesn't change that you're still Naruto Uzumaki." But Shino says yes. But he's still a little surprised, as he didn't know. Actually, unlike Shikamaru, he had no clue. As Naruto say, "Also, Tsunade, I have another request." She'd raise one eyebrow and say, "What is it?" I says, "Simple, I'd like to have the scroll that Hiruzen left for me." As she said, "Sorry, but we're gonna have to destroy that seal to see what it's about." As if the seal is destroyed by someone else, though, his Kekkei Genkai will be permanently lost, which I'm gonna say is what happened in canon, even though it's probably not. As Naruto says, "No, you can't." As she asks why, he says, "Because I have reason to believe that Hiruzen has sealed my clan Kekkei Genkai in there, and if it's a blood-related Kekkei Genkai, if anyone else was to break it, then the Kekkei Genkai would have died permanently from the user and their descendants. And as you know, I'm currently the only Uzumaki in the leaf." As Tsunade's eyes widen as she sends her Anbu to stop them before they break the seal. As right before the Anbu get there, Danzo also tries to send his Anbu, but in the long run, Tsunade gets there first, stopping them from destroying the seal as they use their summoning to bring it to Tsunade, also saying that the Root have attacked us, which is led by Danzo, but he's just going to deny their existence, so you may need to find a way out of it, Hokage-sama. Now, this would greatly piss off Tsunade, as we all know she's very short-tempered. Now, Naruto would get the seal, and he'd break it. Now, when this happened, we can see a red/blue aura start to encase Naruto, as we see multiple chakra chains and a couple of weapons appear. Now, this would be his Kekkei Genkai from his clan. Now, he also has Ice release, and he may have a couple other releases. Now, when this happens, they'd also realize that the air is getting colder and colder, almost to the point where if there was any water, actually there was, a glass of water and it started to freeze. But if there was any other water, well, it would also freeze, probably faster. Well, no, slower, technically. Yeah, whatever. As Tsunade looks at the glass of water, realizing that it's freezing, as she asks Naruto what's going on, as he says, I'm not fully sure, but this could be another Kekkei Genkai. How troublesome. I hope this doesn't land me in the CRA. As she says, I'll do what I can to make sure it doesn't. As Naruto smiles and thanks her. As she smiles at Naruto and says, don't worry about it, Naruto. As that's going to be where their interaction stops. Now, he goes to see Hana with his, and he does have his Chunin vest, except he has changed the colors and made it thinner and more compact, so that way it can hide under his jacket perfectly without it even looking like it's there. Now, he'd go to Hana, and I say, oh hey, as she'd be like, oh hey Naruto, did you become Chunin? As he says, yep. Well, she said, no, fuck. Scrap that. He'd say hello to Hana, wearing the seal, as she said, oh hey Naruto, did you end up becoming Chunin? As he says yes, and because of that, I'm going to stop wearing my seal. I just figured that it'd be better if I wore it, so that you'd be able to identify me. Well, she says, yeah, sure, but what do you look like without the seal? He's like, you can see. As he takes off the seal, as we see the boy from earlier in Hokage's office, which, as you all know, is Naruto Uzumaki, as she'd be stunned, and this would almost get her to blush. If she wasn't such a well-trained shinobi, she would have. Now, this would be the case, as she says, so this is what you really look without the seal. Look like without the seal. Oh, I should also, well, no, he does not have the whisker marks. Because I'm going to say that was a birthmark that faded away, in a sense. As that's going to be, well, the end of the first day. As he goes to Jiraiya and does the same, but that's not really important, as Jiraiya will still be teaching him Winjutsu, but Jiraiya probably will not play as big of a part as in canon. Now, Naruto is training with Hana, as she tells her mother about the fact that he was able to copy the clan fighting style just from seeing it a couple times from Kiba, as this intrigues Hana's mother, because I do not remember her name, guys, as she says, bring Naruto here. If he can, let's get 3 hits on me, then I'll be okay with him using his new fighting style mixture, but if he doesn't, then I will not allow it. As she shakes her head, as then she goes and gets Naruto, as she asks Naruto if he can come with her for a little, as Naruto is okay with it, and they do arrive at the Inuzuka compound. Also, for that person that I was having the argument with, that dogs are not akin to wolves, well, sorry, I was having the argument that they were akin to wolves. He was saying that they weren't. Yes, I'm calling you out. I don't give a they are, and it does state multiple times that they do work with wolves, and I've given you links, so I don't want to hear the complaint this time. Now, we see Hana's mother with I believe she has 3 wolves. I can't remember if she has 2 or 3. She has 3. Okay. Sorry, guys. Kind of dumb. Anyway, so we see her mother walk up with all 3 of her wolves, as Naruto smiles, thinking, I'll probably lose this, but I should probably be able to get the requirements in whatever they are, as he can tell that she's ready for a fight. As she tells us to Naruto, excuse me, but since a third of your fighting style is based off my clan, I have a proposal for you. And if you deny this proposal, then you'll never be able to use that fighting style without my clan going after you. As Naruto smiles and says, excuse me, I don't mean to sound ignorant, but I'm pretty sure your clan can be taken out by me. But anyway, I'd rather not find a whole bunch of shinobi. As she says, like your attitude, but too cocky. As he says, may I know the deal? She bumps it up a little to 8. As she says, if you can get 8 hits on me, then you'll win. But what they don't know is Naruto has been using clones all night, learning about both his new Kekkei Genkai. As this would happen, the fight would start, as Naruto would then make paint chains from his feet, piercing through the ground, wrapping around her legs, and then the dogs. Now this would stop their movements, as Naruto would simply say, question, does my jutsus and, well, Kekkei Genkais count? As she say, yes. But wrapping it around us will not count as one. He says, oh, simple. So I said to hit you with one? Okay. As we can see, a massive ball of metal be made out of chakra, as he throws it straight at Hana's mother, as her mother is barely able to slip away out the chains, getting hit by the ball, but not to a massive degree, as at the last second Naruto had let go of the chains, the last possible instant before they get, well, crushed by it. Now the dogs would also be fine, as she had used a shunshin to get them out the way. That's actually why she got hit. As she smiles at Naruto and says, you're pretty good, as Naruto then disappears. That isn't her mother. Wait, no, wait. Give me a minute, my brain, no, yeah, sorry, no, her mother is one dog. Yeah, her mother is one dog. Am I high? I don't know if I am, hopefully not. Anyway, sorry about that, her mother is one dog, but still the fight would go as I said. Now, this would happen as what the fuck is wrong with me today? Now, this would happen as Naruto would then dash off at her mother, as she would block and get in the fighting style as well as Naruto would get in his, as Naruto would be the first one to move with a leaf hurricane, as she'd get out the way, as Naruto would then use his other leg to slam it down to jump off of, actually landing a dropkick barely on her. As he says, okay, I'm sorry, but if I make weapons out of ninjutsu, that counts, correct? As she smiles and says yes, as he makes some ice senbon, as is simple. I'll use these then. As he ends up throwing them directly at her, she says, Earth style, Earth wall, as Naruto then says, Wind style, wind great breakthrough. Now, this would end up pushing them faster, making them go through the mud wall. And she'd get hit 6 more times, ending the fight. Now, Hana's mother would then go and congratulate him, as she does technically have access to the whole pack, if I remember correctly, as long as the wolves will serve her, as she looks at Hana and says, well, time for your test. As she looks at her mother with a curious look, as she says, simple. If you're going to take me on alone, I'm going to give you our clan's summoning, the wolf summoning. Basically, it's like our little friends here, except they're a lot bigger and better. Not better, sorry. And they can cast ninjutsu without us. They have their own chakra natures and everything. As she agrees with this, and she does end up winning the fight, as she is given the fox scroll. Not fox, sorry, wolf scroll. Kind of stupid. Anyway, now, for 3 years, they decided that they'd both train separately and see who can get the strongest, as Naruto wouldn't leave with Jiraiya and said he'd go to the summoning world and he'd tell the Hokage about this. Now, he'd go to the summoning world and train. He'd train non-stop. And he started learning Sage Mode. Well, Fox Sage Mode anyway. Which would give him a slew of new abilities. But I think that's going to be where I'm ending it off, everyone. I'm sorry for how fast-paced this was. I didn't really have a plan for this. And I forgot who No, I remember that Hana's obviously the only one in this picture besides Kurama and Naruto. I remember that. I just could not remember the amount of wolves that her mother had. I believe that she only had one, even though she technically has access to the whole pack. Sorry about that, guys. But with all that out of the way, this is gonna be goodbye, and I'll see you all later. This is the Cursed Outsider signing out. Goodbye, my cursed shinobis.